Hey, welcome back into ShopFix, a community joined together for the love of woodworking. My name is Connor, and I recently upgraded my table saw workstation. In this video, I want to break down the build and all of its features. It's greatly enhanced the functionality of my workshop, and so this is going to be great for anyone diving into a new workbench workstation build or want to add features onto their existing workbench or workstation. Let's get right into this. Now, before I built this awesome workstation, I was utilizing a DeWalt job site table saw and a custom workstation that I built around it. And this worked great for so many years, but the transformation from that workstation to this workstation is wild. The capabilities have increased and it looks sweet. I've fallen in love with the older tools, and so refurbishing this Rockwell model was really fun, I gotta be honest. I bought it used on Facebook Marketplace for $200. I felt like it was a steal. I've upgraded it and it runs so smooth. So I built this awesome workstation around it. I started the construction of this workstation with milled 2x4 material. And I did this just so that my joints were more accurate because I wanted a precise level top. And so that was my main concern. And then I just joined them together by utilizing pocket holes. I use the Craig Jig K4, but honestly, Craig has a line of pocket hole jigs out there. And so utilizing any one of those would get this job done great. And so with the pocket hole joinery, I was able to just butt all those 2x4s that I milled up against each other and then create the quick joinery that I needed to create the base structure for the workstation. The foundation of this build starts with two identical rectangular frames, one for the top and one for the bottom. Once those two frames were built, I connected them together using milled 2x4 legs at each corner. Now, once I had the basic 2x4 structure complete, I needed to make sure that I was able to level the complete workstation and the table saw to the sloped garage floor. And I utilized these leg levelers, and these are my favorite kind because you can actually chuck in a bit and drive these up and down super fast, so you don't have to tediously use a wrench. These levelers let me fine-tune each contact point independently, so it sits perfectly stable no matter where it lives in the shop. Once those frames were tied together, I added 45-degree corner braces on the top and bottom. I secured those braces with pocket holes and used a simple corner clamping jig to hold everything in position while driving screws. Next, I moved on to the shelf support system, and this is where planning ahead really pays off. I used spacer blocks to maintain consistent height across the entire workstation. I intentionally inset the shelf supports at the front to create clearance for my Rockwell motor. I added cross members across the entire frame, but deliberately left gaps between them. These open bays allow me to add accessories later without tearing the bench apart. To lock everything in permanently, I installed a center vertical support leg using spacer blocks to hold the shelf level while fastening. Once the structure was dead flat, I installed the remaining leg levelers, 8 in total. Now I was able to quickly chuck a drill in place, making fine adjustment fast and painless. Once I had the basic structure of the workstation leveled to the garage floor, I went on to creating the work surface. And the work surface is made up of 2 sheets of plywood, and I secured them together with clamps, a pilot hole bit, and screws. So it was a super easy way to create a thick worktop without milling up a bunch of 2x4s. And it is sturdy. And then for the shelving, I just used 1 sheet of 3/4 inch plywood. With the base cabinet complete, moving on to installing the plywood shelving was exciting, so much so that I ended up upgrading to a Milwaukee M18 impact and driver set, and the difference compared to my old Menard set is massive. More torque, better control, and way less fatigue, especially when you're driving hundreds of fasteners in. For the worktop, I clamped 2 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood together and cut them at the same time using my wind track saw and guides. I kept them clamped throughout the entire process to eliminate any movement. After clamping flat reference blocks on top, I drilled pilot holes and drove screws around the entire perimeter. Once that was locked in, I then slid the top out and added screws to the center of the structure. To attach the worktop to the base, I used figure-8 fasteners. I drilled recesses using my figure-8 jig and Milescraft drilling guide, then cleaned them up with a chisel. After securing the fasteners, I squared the worktop to the base and drove screws from underneath to lock everything in. I finished the exposed edges with birch edge banding, using an iron to activate the adhesive and trimming flush with an edge banding tool. I used hard wax oil to finish the top and later applied paste finishing wax for extra glide. Now it was time to enclose the front of the workstation with plywood panels. These were cut to precise measurements to allow clearance for the table saw motor while also isolating storage compartments. Separating those dusty zones from clean storage is a small detail that makes a big difference long term. Even with the opening, the low shelf and open interior design of the workstation allow me plenty of storage room. In my small shop, having large storage compartments has been a huge upgrade. Dialing in the dust collection on an old Rockwell table saw took some creativity. I built a custom panel with an opening for my dust hose. I drilled mounting holes for bolts, and then installed mag-link dust collection ports. I used a rubber gasket to ensure a tight seal and better vacuum pressure. I then secured the panel with larger bolts to the table saw's cabinet. With this setup, I can simply snap the hose into place and get efficient, no-hassle dust collection. One thing my previous workstation was lacking was proper lumber storage. Now it did have a few bottom shelves, but they're open and constantly filled with dust, so I wanted to solve that with this workstation. To do this, I used full overlay Euro-style hinges, and they're soft close, and they're really awesome. Now to install these hinges, I just utilized the Craig hinge jig, and so this makes it so much easier to drill the holes and install the hinges. And then to install the handles, I use this jig, and it's one of my favorites. It's the Euro Handle It hardware jig, and so these two jigs make this a breeze. One of the biggest advantages here is that the jig also includes built-in pilot hole guides. That means the hinge cup holes and the mounting screws are automatically aligned every time. To reinforce the hinge mounting area and add some real structural rigidity to the workstation, I added solid 2x4 support blocks at each leg. This step gives the hinge screws something to bite into and adds great shelf support. For the installation, I started by shimming the doors close to their final position. Once the door was in position, I clamped it so nothing could move while I drove in the hinge screws. These Euro-style soft-close hinges allow adjustment in every direction, up, down, in, out, and side to side. These fine-tune adjustments with the screwdriver mean perfectly even gaps and flush alignment. For the handles, accuracy matters just as much as consistency, so I started with the Euro Handle It jig to lock in the layout. Once the layout was marked, I switched over to the Milescraft 90-degree drilling guide. This ensures the holes are perfectly perpendicular to the door face. I also clamped a sacrificial backer board behind each door before drilling. This completely eliminates tear out on the backside, which is especially important when working with plywood or veneered material. Once the holes were drilled, I dropped in the bolts and secured the handles. To finish off the base and clean up the overall look, I added 1/4-inch oak trim to cover the exposed 2x4 edges in those visible screw holes. Structurally, the workstation was already rock solid, but visually, this trim ties everything together. At this point, I had a great blank structure to begin adding additional workstation features that will greatly elevate the station's capabilities. Being able to use table saw jigs that utilize runners is super important in woodworking, and so we need to create grooves in the table saw work surface to house those runners. So that's how it works, and to create those grooves, you simply need a straight edge, a router, and a 3/4 groove bit. Now, as far as a straight edge, I like utilizing my track saw guides, and those work great. And so these are really easy to create if you utilize the right tools. All right, it's time to discuss one of my favorite features of this whole workstation, and that's the router setup. Now, in my previous workstation, I never put a router setup in there because I had a router table and I thought I was set. Little did I know, this is a game changer. It increases the work capacity so much. So I have from the end of the workstation all the way to the front of the table saw to support lumber. And better yet, the router lift makes changing bits out so much easier. So I used a GSM router lift and then a PowerTech router fence. And with these, this setup is so awesome. I can collect the dust. I can dial in the routing perfectly with a stop block and feather boards. It's safe and effective. And I even encased it in a little storage unit. So I can just simply open this up and all of my stuff is in there for the router lift and the fence. And I even installed a plug. I don't even have to access inside there. I can simply turn on the router from out here and get straight to routing. So this has been a game changer and I highly recommend a setup like this. Installing a router lift is one of the most precision critical steps of this entire build. Once you drill into the worktop, there's no undo button, so careful layout is everything. After locking in the location, I cut the rough opening using a jigsaw. Once the lift dropped cleanly through the refined opening, I switched to a router to recess the edges so the lift plate could sit slightly below the surface. This recess is critical. You actually want it a hair deeper than the plate thickness so you can fine tune the final height upward using the set screws rather than fighting a proud edge. With the recess complete, I mounted the router to the lift and carefully lowered the entire assembly into place. Before fully tightening anything down, I placed a straight edge across the worktop and used the perimeter set screws to dial the lift perfectly flush to the work surface. With the lift installed, I moved on to the PowerTech router fence system. I routed 3/4 inch screws on either side of the lift. This T-track system allows the router fence to slide smoothly while still locking down rock solid. The fence uses T-bolts threaded into locking knobs, which makes adjustments fast and repeatable without sacrificing rigidity. The real advantage of this setup is workflow. Fence adjustments are quick, accurate, and predictable, and the integrated dust collection keeps the work area clean while you're routing. I think every good workbench or workstation needs a good way to clamp boards down, and I thought about a lot of different methods to utilize on this workstation, and the one that I came up with was the T-track system. I can clamp thin boards as well as wider panels to this hard maple surface with the T-track clamps. And I thought this was a great way to utilize the entire width of my station and really maximize the clamping potential of future builds. I started by milling a 2.5 inch thick hard maple board dead flat and square. Hard maple is dense, wear resistant, and stable, perfect for this high impact area. Once the board was milled, I cut 2 3/4 inch dados to house the T-tracks. I chose to install 2 parallel tracks so I can clamp thin hardwood as well as wide plywood panels by utilizing 4 T-track clamps. Before attaching anything, I carefully laid out and drilled countersunk pilot holes. Countersinking ensures the screw heads sit below the surface, which is critical in this clamping zone. I then trimmed the T-track to length using a hacksaw and deburred the ends with a file. After the T-track was in place on the maple, I drilled shallow pilot holes and secured the tracks using the provided screws. After clamping the maple perfectly flush to the worktop, I drilled pilot holes through and drove in 3-inch screws to lock it in place. I also reinforced the board from underneath with additional screws, which eliminates any chance of deflection when clamping heavy stock. The result is a rock-solid, edge-mounted T-track clamping station that handles everything from thin stock to wide panels without compromise. I hope you really enjoyed this in-depth view on my new workstation build. If you have any questions on any of the features that I've added or how to build it, feel free to comment below. I'm always here to answer. I have some new awesome woodworking themed t-shirts like the one I've been wearing in this video. This is a mountain landscape with grain lines all throughout it. It's pretty awesome, but I have so many more designs on my shop if you want to go check that out. Well, that's all for today, but I wish you the best of luck on your future woodworking projects. Take care.